What up, dudes? It's Gaz, and welcome back to another Warframe video. So today we're going over another galvanized, buffed build. Today we're going over the Stahlta, or I like to call it the Thunder Gun. But before we get into it, we actually have a sponsor for today's video, and that's called Dragon City. So let's get into that real quick. So let's talk about the sponsor of today's video, Dragon City. Dragon City is a free-to-play game on both Android and Windows, also iOS. In this game, you're going to be getting a bunch of dragons, and I think dragons are pretty cool. There's a Cthulhu dragon right there. So the way that this game works is you're actually going to get thousands of different dragons to build your Dragon City fortress. You can breed two of the dragons together to get different types of dragons and evolve them. So if you want to get the Spike Dragon and turn it into a Spiky Cthulhu dragon, I'm sure there's one of those somewhere in this game. There's also different PvP modes where you can bring your Spiky Cthulhu dragon and fight the whatever dragon, the turtle dragon, and eat it and win, potentially. There's also several events each week that will make it so you can, do dragon things. There's some dragon tic-tac-toe in there, I'm sure. And you can also feed your dragon. If you click the link down below for the sponsored video, you can actually get some free gold, free food, and a rare Citadel dragon just for clicking on the video link down below. There's also YouTuber dragons in here. I'm not in here, but there's dragons for Dream, George Not Found, Eddie VR, and many others. So if you want to check out this game and support the channel in the process, click the link down below and give it a shot if you like dragons like me. Thank you very much. Alright, thanks so much to Dragon City for sponsoring today's video. Alright, so the Thunder Gun. The Stahlta. What is this thing doing? How is it? It's really good. I'm just going to let you know. It's actually very satisfying if you have this epic lightning gun skin, but we'll just go over it real quick with the stats and all that. So this thing is why I don't really like the tenent tetra that much. So we got 24% crit chance, 1.8 multiplier on the full auto primary shot with decent stash chance as well. It's got impact, puncture, and slash, with slash being the highest weighted. So decent slash procs on the primary shot, but it's got secondary shot. This is the thing we care about here, where we press the alt fire button, it charges up the blaster, and then it releases itself actually, and this thing is actually hitting really hard. On impact, it does 600 damage. On explosion, it does 1200 damage with a large 7.2 range on it with 70% fall off. So it's also got a little bit embed delay, so after 0.4 seconds, it will detonate. And with this special gun skin that you actually get either by briefly downloading the Epic Game Store launcher, or I think there were some alerts on console. It's called the Stahlta Shock Rifle skin. It actually looks really nice. So let's use the primary shot here, the full auto. Basically a laser gun. And if you have 20 bullets in your magazine, you can fire off the lightning blast, which hits very hard, has a large AoE, and actually scales pretty well. So let's show it right now with this build, which is going to be a no-riven Firestorm build with Hunter Munitions. Of course, if you wanted to go for more damage, you could go for Prime Bane the Grenier or Corpus, or whatever you're fighting against. And this thing actually has pretty decent Riven disposition. So I have a Riven that replaces this mod right here, Infected Clip. Gives us some more damage. But if you have a crit chance Riven or something like that, you can get over 100% crit chance, because this thing actually doesn't like negative fire rate that much. So you might not want to run critical delay, but I decided, since I'm running Vial Acceleration to speed up the secondary shot, critical delay wasn't too big of a deal. But you go to exactly 100% crit chance if you have Point Strike on here, and you go to 120 if you have critical delay on here. So that's really going to be up to personal preference. We've taken off Serration as we have Primary Merciless giving us plenty of damage. Another mod slot is actually going to be more valuable here than Serration most of the time. And let's give it a quick fire off. So we've summoned in some Butchers to stack up our Merciless to simulate actual mission. We have some Steel Path gameplay in here as well. Alright, there's the 12 kills we needed. Now we have Prime Firestorm, so we're not doing as much damage. But as you can see, still very, very good against these Exo Gokstad officers. And there was a red crit right there. 39,000 in a large AoE for the slash proc explosions. So very satisfying to use. And if you don't run critical delay, you can spam it even more. So yeah, very nice stuff there. Let's just take off critical delay for some more fire rate. Or rather, take off the mod that reduces our fire rate. Now it's more spammable. You can actually just use this thing. If you have Prime Sure-Footed, if you're playing Revenant or Rhino or something like that, you can just run around blowing stuff up. It's actually really, really fun. Although it is very blinding, I will definitely admit, it is very blinding to play like that. just running around with this thing, spamming it. But it is very effective as well, which is kind of nice. So there. So if we had a Bane mod, that would be doing probably like 90,000 slash procs instead of the 48,000 we have right now, which, you know, is not usually necessary, but it technically is a lot more damage. So it's something you can keep in mind. I was also in the game of footage running with the the Sarin Vulpaphyla, which is what I call it, but I think it's called the Panzer Vulpaphyla. Thing's pretty good at proc and viral and getting your damage increase. So let's get that gameplay on the screen. And yeah, as far as me recommending this to you, it's a little bit annoying to farm. I think it comes from the Granum Void, but you should probably be doing the Granum Void anyway to get these new Tenant weapons. And I would say I prefer this over the Tenant Tetra. Now that the Tenant Tetra got its damage fall off added, which was always intended, not my fault, by the way, it actually has a lot more competition now, because it's not the only AoE big explosion gun that has no damage fall off. Now they all have damage fall off basically, besides like very niche ones like the Sonic Core and the Necromech gun, the Arqueducts. Like this thing, this can fire 2 shots before it has to reload, unlike the Tenant Tetra, which has to fire 1 if you're not using energized munitions. So there's that. This also has the full auto shot, and this thing actually is slash weighted highly, so that's got going over the Tenant Tetra as well. The only thing this thing really doesn't have is it has less base damage than the Tenant Tetra's explosion if you have a 60% roll. And actually the Tenant Tetra has more base damage on any percent roll on the secondary shot. This thing has like 1200, I think, and the Tenant Tetra with a 25% roll would have 1250. So with the maxed out roll, Tenant Tetra has 1600, and this thing is still going to be, it's not a Kuva weapon, so it doesn't really scale up with percentages and stuff like that. But I do think this thing is better personally. It might just be a feel thing, this might be an appearance thing, or an ease of use thing, so you have to reload the Tenant Tetra, the entire 80 round magazine every time. This can fire off 2 shots before reloading, like I said. You know, it's up to personal preference, but I think this is the way to do it. The slash procs aren't as crazy as you would hope, but you know, its AoE clearing is very high tier. Like as you can see, like that entire area of Grenier died like instantly, besides that heavy gunner could die in the slash proc. And like I said earlier, the Rivens are pretty decent at this point, not top tier at all. But you know, I'd say go for like, you know, multi-shot, crit chance, crit damage. If you honestly, this thing has a mod slot problem because you probably are gonna really want to run fire rate. So getting an elemental on your Riven is actually not a bad idea, hilariously. Even though like I usually don't run elementals on my Rivens, you might want to get elemental on this one. As you can see right here, this build is hard to fit on with all the things you want. You want to have, now to be fair, Firestorm's a flex slot. That's where I'd usually put my Bane mod. But like we don't have much room on here. You need to have basically get some bang for your buck at your Riven. I got the Toxin on here. I can fit the whole build on now. Even though, like, you know, I would like to put Prime Firestorm and the Bane on here, that's not really realistic if you want to jam the viral. Because this thing has I think it's built-in radiation. So getting viral is not like, it's not just like, oh, put on one mod and it's all set. That's not how it is. So, yeah, I'd highly recommend this thing. If you don't have the skin, it's fine. Like, it has different sound effects, I think, as well. So, yeah, I definitely do like the Stahlta. The buffs to the galvanized mods and all that are really nice for this thing. And I randomly just blow up here. I don't know why, but yeah, it looks like I blow myself up here with the Stahlta against this Acolyte. He just fell through the floor, actually. Never mind. But yeah, overall, would recommend it. Also, guys, thank you so much for watching the video. If you want to check out the sponsor of today's video, the link down below for Dragon City Mobile, it's on PC as well if you want like some game to play on the side, and they did support the channel today, so appreciate if you check it out. And yeah, I'll see you next time in another video. Take it easy and peace.